And welcome back to day 4 of the Throne of Eldraine previews. So we got a bunch of previews to go over today. A little on the lighter side, admittedly, but we still got a decent amount to go over. So we got Epic Downfall, which is 1 black, 1 main color for a sorcery. Uncommon, exile target creature who convert mana cost 3 or greater. Look, you want to just talk about solid removal? Solid removal. You'll get rid of anything that's huge. Either your what was it, Honorable Archon, or what's the damn thing called? Harmonious Archon, any of the big things, a dragon, like the one we'll get to in a little bit. The Royal Scions aren't even, is it creature? No, creatures. It says creature. But they're like Opportunistic Dragon, any of the big trolls. So, yeah, absolutely. This is great removal. If you're in black, you'll use it. And if you're in a pre-release, and you end up pulling this card, and you have a solid enough black pull, get 2 copies, use them. They're good removal. Enough said. Fervent Champion, 1 red for a rare human knight, 1/1 creature with first strike and haste. When it attacks, another target attacking knight you control gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. Equip abilities you activate that target this card cost 3 less to activate. So basically, I'm guessing what they mean by equipped abilities is it costs 3 less to equip this card. Great in the Knight deck, just okay anywhere else. It's a first strike haste for 1. It's a 1/1. And it costs 3 less to essentially equip it with whatever you're going to equip it with. It's a decent card on its own. In the Knight deck, it's a pretty solid card. But that's all it really is. It's not mind-blowing. It's not going to, blow the doors off anything. It's just a good card. It's a good card. Opportunistic Dragon is 2 red, 2 of any color for a 4/3. Dragon, rare, flying. When it enters the battlefield, choose target human or artifact an opponent controls. For as long as this card remains on the battlefield, you can control the permanent. It loses all abilities and cannot attack or block. This is a red control card. It is a red control card. You're taking either their best human or their best artifact. And let's be clear, it does not specify just straight artifact like artifact creature. This is artifact. So if it's an artifact creature, you can take that as well. Which honestly, it makes it a little bit better in that regard as well. Now, that being said, in terms of just like the seal, like just the set, haven't seen all of what the artifact creatures bring to the table. In terms of, how many there are and what they all do. But in terms of, commander or just any other type of deck building, it's a good card. Now, that said, though, you are basically getting there's literally nothing you'll be able to do with the card you take. If it's a creature, you might be able to sacrifice it for an effect. If it's an artifact, you might be able to do something with it, but ultimately you won't do anything with the creature except take it away from your opponent. So that's it. And it only takes humans also. That's the other big downside. Is that most creatures aren't going to be, not necessarily, that's not true. Most creatures aren't going to be human. Not everyone's going to have a human. That's the big thing. So yeah. Gladwick the Wizened, which I'm guessing is supposed to be the Merlin of this set, is 3 blue X for a 3/3 legendary human wizard, rare. When it enters the battlefield, draw X cards. When you cast blue spells, tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls. I'm a little bleh with this one. In one sense, it's a 3/3/4/3 if you really want to. That has the effect that when you pay a blue spell, you can tap permanents your opponent controls. Great, but then you can maximize that a bit more for the effect of drawing cards. So spend like 5 mana, draw 2 cards, and then you get this guy. Now this guy on his own is actually a pretty good card. You do have to be pretty much in a mono blue to make it as powerful as possible, but a good card nonetheless. I don't know. I could find use for it. I could anyway. I don't know about other people. Smarter people than me definitely could. Because that sentence makes sense. But still, it's a good card. I'm certain it is. Just I don't know how good. I love the art though. Like he's got candles on him. It's like a melting mane of wax. It's actually pretty good. Insatiable Appetite. 1 green, 1 of any color for a instant common. You may sacrifice a food. If you do, target creature gets +5/+5 till the end turn. Otherwise, it just gets +3/+3. Now, here's the thing. It's a standard pump spell, 3/3 for 2. But if you happen to have food, you can then, increase that. Cauldron Familiar. So it's a decent card. Cauldron Familiar is 1 black for an uncommon black cat. It's not the creature type, it's a black cat. 1/1 enters the battlefield. Target opponent, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Sacrifice a food. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If you can get food going, maybe even get multiple copies of this going. We haven't seen all the food cards yet, I'm certain. So if there's a card that gives you food every turn, say like Oko, for example. So if you're in a Sultai color combination, and you could in theory just continually bring these guys back. You got an engine there. You could make something like that work. Otherwise, it's just a cute little trick. If you got food and you don't want to gain 3 life, instead gain 1 life and deal 1 damage, then yeah. And it's not damage, mind you. It's just life loss. But still, it's a good card. I'd say it's a decent card. Bognaughty. That's a hilarious name. I'm Bognaughty. 2 black, 3 of any color for a 3/3 fairy uncommon. Flying. Pay 2 and a black, sacrifice food, and target creature gets -3/-3 until the end of turn. Hey, that's a good card. That's a good card with a good ability. So yeah, I would definitely say it's a pretty solid one. Because again, food's going to be a big thing in this set. So there you go. Let's see. Mara Leaf Rider is 1 green, 1 of any color for a 3/1 elf knight. Sacrifice a food. Target creature blocks Mara Leaf Rider this turn if able. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of this one. Now, that being said, there are combat tricks with this kind of ability. If you need to get, if you have enough through your other creatures to deal the finishing blow, but one of them is bigger than Mara Leaf Rider, and the one creature they have would block the big creature instead, then that could work. But ultimately, I've never really liked these abilities when they're not on creatures that can really survive that kind of effect. This is not a creature that can... It has no other ability is the problem. If it had a Death Touch, it'd be a lot more dangerous. Wouldn't be a common then. But if it had, Vigilance, if it had Lifelink, if it's something like that, it'd be a lot more... It'd be a lot more passable. But for me, it's just it'd be a filler card more than anything else. I could still use it in the green deck, especially in this pre-release. Which it does look like I might be able to go to the pre-release this time. I didn't go to the M21, it was just kind of felt like a mess set. And we were coming off War of the Spark, which was epic and awesome and cool. And that was just kind of This is, getting me a little bit more hyped up again. Into the story, 2 blue, 5 of any color for instant. Blue. The spell costs 3 less to cast if an opponent has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. Draw 4 cards. So essentially, it costs 3 less, meaning you're casting a 4 costing spell, 2 blue and 4 of any color, or 2 of any color, to draw 4 cards. All you gotta really do is wait late game, is what you gotta do with this card. Just wait a little bit, see if you can mill a little bit into the grave. You'll be just fine. I can see, trust me, I've got decks. I have a couple of mill decks. I could find a nice, tasty home for this. No problem. Reeve's Soul gets a reprint of 1 black, 1 of any color for a sorcery common. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less. Yeah, that's another. It helps counterbalance the other half of the this not trope of the card type, where power 3 or greater, power 3 or less. Reeve's Soul's always been a pretty decent card. Sorcerer's Spyglass is 2 of any color. 2 of any color for a rare artifact. Enters the battlefield. Look at an opponent's hand, then choose any card name. Activate abilities of sources with the chosen name cannot be activated unless they're mana abilities. It's a stall. It's a bit of a control, but it's mostly a stall. Essentially, you're trying to get them to, keep them at bay, force them not to play stuff. So it's okay. I can think of better things to play with my time, in the deck. So I do like it's a mermaid, basically, with this telescope spyglass staring at the ghost. I want to be where the people are. It's basically that. Fell the Peasants. 1 green, 1 of any color for an instant. Common. Deals 5 damage to target creature with flying. Create a food token. A lot of fairies in this set. A lot of creatures with flying, so this would actually be a pretty useful card within the context of this set. Outside of it, it's as useful as any other card that kills flyers, which still isn't bad. So, I'll say it's a usable card, definitely. Elite Headhunter is the Rakdos of the 4 hybrid mana card cycle. So 4 Rakdos mana, red-black, hybrid mana. 2/3, Human Knight, uncommon, menace. You can pay 3 hybrid Rakdos black-red mana. Sacrifice another creature or an artifact. It deals 2 damage to to target creature or planeswalker. This one's got this one's got kick to it. Definitely got some kick to it. Yeah, I mean, you sacrifice food, you're going to be doing 2 damage to a player or a planeswalker. You get enough mana going, you're already going to need at least 4 mana to get this guy out, unless you cheat him out somehow. So it's not hard to think you can get this ability off twice, which means if they're not careful, and he's got menace, which means he's got a pseudo level of evasion. Not true evasion, but he's got kind of evasion. If you figure out a way to pump him up, say with an equipment or something, this guy will become very dangerous, very quick, and you will need to deal with it. So currently, of the cycle of these guys, I think the red-white one's pretty good. Actually, I think they're all pretty good. But I think the red-white one is pretty good. The white-blue one's also really good. And this one is definitely up there as well. But honestly, they're all good. I think, honestly, the white-green one, though, is the weakest one so far. So, Ardenvale Tactician. 2 white, 1 of any color for a 2/3 flying human knight. Or you can pay the adventure Dizzying Swoop. 1 white, 1 of any color. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Now, I can see why you'd want to play that, definitely. The question is that you want to try to play it when you actually, have something. Also, on the field, so that way you can get an attack in. But also, where was I going with that? Also, it's another one where the adventure is much cheaper than the actual card itself. So you want to play the adventure part first, especially at instant speed. Yeah, you want to play that. Honestly, this one's a pretty solid one. Merchant of the Veil. This one I'm not quite understanding. So 1 red, 2 of any color for a 2/3 human peasant that when you pay its mana cost, don't tap it, just pay the mana cost, discard a card and draw a card. Okay. Or you can just play Haggle. Instant. You may discard a card, and if you do, draw a card for 1 red. I've never liked these cards. I mean, like, I get the blue version of it where you draw then discard, but discarding then drawing is a bit more, what's the best way to put it? It's a bit more gambling is what it is, honestly. It's a bit treacherous sometimes. But still, I can see there are players who like these cards, and I can't argue with that. I can see some benefit to it. I just probably wouldn't be one of the guys who plays this. Edgewall Innkeeper, 1 green for a 1/1 human peasant, uncommon. Whenever you cast a creature spell that has adventure, you draw a card. Note, you do not have to cast the adventure first. If you're playing a lot of cards with adventure, you're definitely going to want to play this card. Definitely. So, I mean, there's nothing else. Now, it's probably going to die pretty quick. It's only a 1/1. It's really squishy. But it's a solid card if you're playing the adventure cards. You're playing a lot of them. Another card that's not as squishy is Wandermare. 1 white, 1 of any color for a 1 white, 1 green, 1 of any color for a horse 3/3 uncommon. Whenever you cast a creature spell that has adventure, put a +1 counter on it. And again, you do not have to cast the adventure cost first. This one I like a bit more just because it becomes a pretty big beater after a while, and you can still equip it or enchant it. So it's a good card. It's just a big, meaty, beefy, pound you in the face card. So yeah, that's the cards for today. Not a lot, not as many as we've had or come out recently. And I think that's most likely due to this fact that we're trudging along with the spoilers, and they're going to start coming in less huge quantities. We may still get a couple more later tonight, but I'll have to wait on you'll have to wait till tomorrow to hear me talk about them, if you care at all. Till then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be back with a review for Hustlers later on tonight. See you next time.